Hello and welcome to Hysteria. I'm Erin Ryan.
And I'm Alyssa Mastromonaco.
Alyssa, you've got some new outfit energy today. You want to explain to me what's going on?
Erin, look, I am no different than I was in middle school and high school. I ordered something new for fall and I couldn't wait. Even though it's hot out, I am wearing it today. Just like my little, remember CB, the brand CB?
I don't. But
okay, so CB used to make like anoraks and like ski clothes.
Sure.
And growing up, you would go, so back before climate change, the last week of August was always like gorgeous up here. And you'd have like, it'd be like, 60 degrees at night when you'd go to the county fair and everyone would wear their new stuff for school. And so anyway, I'm wearing my back to school clothes today.
Oh my gosh. I used to, after I went back to school shopping and like just begged and pleaded. It was just a day-long negotiation with my mother to try to get her to like let me have like nicer stuff than we could afford. But I would get home and lay out my first day of school outfit. And it would go untouched until...
Did you guys have layaway?
Yes, but I don't think we ever used it.
So we had we were big time layaway people. So I would like visit my back to school clothes all summer. Till we picked them up off of layaway at the end of August.
Oh my God, I love that.
I'm just so into it right now. It's like just a little something. So what, I'm wearing flannel in August.
Okay, folks, you're listening to Hysteria, the podcast where women are my favorite guy.
Live, it never die. Women are my favorite guy.
Are you in that?
Absolutely.
Yes, women are my favorite guy, and that should have been the tagline of our podcast from jump. I am ashamed.
Well, you know what? We're always iterating, Erin, and we are here to learn and grow with every year and podcast.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, normally we kind of banter a little bit at the top of news.
Yeah.
But I feel like we should really take advantage of the fact that we're currently in what we call our gloating closet.
We're in our gloating closet because we have, some stuff to gloat about.
Some stuff to gloat about. This is a rare but welcome and joyful moment when I'm like, way to go, Ohio.
What do you know?
You guys did it. So, Alyssa, what went down in Ohio on Tuesday? And why are we gloating
Erin,
about it?
I am happy to report that Republicans were utterly fucking destroyed in Tuesday's Ohio special election. Or, as you like to say, curb stomped.
They were curb stomped. It's true.
They were curb stomped. Ohio voted no overwhelmingly on a measure known as Issue 1 that sought to make it more difficult to amend the state constitution at the ballot box. As of our recording right now, Erin, Wednesday morning, the vote stands at 43% yes, 57% no.
Oh,
what do you know about that?
That is a bigger margin than the Protasewicz curb stomping in Wisconsin. The margins keep growing. The curb stomping.
The margins speak for themselves, Erin. Abortion wins elections, okay? How long have we been saying this?
Since the show started.
Yes,
and
abortion
has been winning them since the
wins
show started.
Elections. And we talked last week, nearly 700,000 Ohioans voted early, either in person or by mail, surpassing the amount of early votes 288,000 people cast in the May 2022 primary election.
Oh, that didn't just surpass it. That blew it out of the water.
It curb stomped that too.
Blew that out. Oh my gosh. That's so many voters.
For comparison. Now this is not apples to apples, which makes it even better. The 2022 general election total was 4,200,000 votes. As of this morning, in a special election in August, over 3 million votes have been counted with over 99% of the vote in.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah.
What? Erin, turnout was so heavy that some election offices were straining to manage the load and tried to recruit additional poll workers.
Wow. Okay, so issue 1 failed. Yay. We've been talking about it for a few weeks. Ohioans showed up. They did not come to fuck around. So what happens now? So this isn't the vote on abortion access.
No. So just for anyone who has not been following this closely, issue 1 was meant to, the Republicans wanted issue 1 to pass so that in order to amend the state constitution, you would need a threshold of 60%, not the current 50% plus 1, right? So that failed. So now come November, enshrining abortion into the Constitution is on the agenda. And we just need 50% plus 1.
Mm-hmm. And what's super interesting is that polling has shown with pretty much reliability that between 57 and 60% of likely Ohio voters support access to abortion.
Yes.
But if the referendum fails in November, it's also on the ballot with legalizing recreational marijuana. Which is pretty cool. Oh, I wanted to really quick talk about how issue 1, another way that it was like snaky. You know how Republicans will try to make things rules that only apply to abortion or only apply to birth control. And they've gotten away with it a bunch of times, like, so why not this time? Issue 1 was designed to raise the threshold to 60% to get things in the state constitution. So it wouldn't have applied to the marijuana law, which was just changing state law. So it was like not only they didn't even have like plausible deniability to be like, we just don't want direct democracy. It's too chaotic. No, they literally were just targeting this abortion referendum that's on the ballot in Ohio in November, which is pretty crazy. If it fails, this is why the stakes are as high as they are. If it fails, that it looks like a 6-week abortion ban that was passed and enacted by the state's gerrymandered, extremist right-wing state government, which, by the way, is out of step with how most Ohioans, think and believe. It's just they've been gerrymandered all the fuck. The 6-week abortion ban will probably go into effect unless a court strikes it down. But you don't want to rely on the courts, guys. Take democracy into your own hands.
And you know what else is a little glimmer of good news in all of this? Erin, people do not like extreme positions on abortion. We're seeing this across the country. And it's good news for Sherrod Brown, who is on the ballot. He is up in cycle, and his potential opponents have very, very extreme positions on abortion. So it feels like there might still be a path for his reelection.
Yeah, and Ohio is, the more I've been reading about Ohio, the more I've been, studying up on this, it seems to me as though Ohioans like issues that Democrats care about, but they don't like Democrats.
Erin, that's correct. You're correct.
But they do like Sherrod Brown because he's gotten elected, I think, a few times now. So, there is, I would say I've got like a mostly sunny outlook on his
I'm
re-election,
feeling positive.
Mostly sunny. So something else super interesting about this is that this is like, I don't know, the 5th time that abortion bans or abortion restrictions have been voted on by the general public in red states since Dobbs was overturned. I know that's a lot of caveats, but we had Kansas, Kentucky, Montana, and Wisconsin. And in all of those scenarios, voters opted for the choice that did not restrict abortion. So Kentuckians had the opportunity to enshrine an anti-abortion clause in the state constitution. They rejected it. Kansas did not remove the right to abortion from the state constitution. All of these states are still trying to fuck around with bans, with maybe the exception of Wisconsin, because that state as an abortion desert's days are numbered with a 4-3 state Supreme Court. But, it's Republicans should be worried, but they're not. And, something else interesting I found out about this is that Ohio is one of 10 states that significantly restricts abortion and allows citizen-sponsored ballot initiatives. So the others are Arkansas, Florida, Missouri, Montana, which we mentioned, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, and South Dakota. And there have been rumblings, well, they're not just rumblings, something was filed in Arizona on Tuesday that indicated that they are attempting to go through the process of getting a pro-abortion initiative on the ballot in Arizona in 2024, which we coming. you know?
Fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out. And, you know, these other states are in, you know, various stages of trying to figure out how to get this done. I know in Missouri, the state government has been trying to play defense on the rights of their citizens to add like public referendums. I know that in South Dakota, there have been some talk about getting a pro-abortion language on a public referendum. But the one where it's the furthest, now that Ohio has done what it's done, Arizona is the furthest along. So we're going to be keeping track of this.
Yes, we will.
Heading into 2024. Because the energy's on our side now, man.
I can feel it.
And there's another thing that happened this week that was interesting. CNN released the results of a poll about attitudes towards the Dobbs decision, which was the decision that overturned Roe v. Wade. And they found that the percentage of people who say they disapprove of the Supreme Court, the Dobbs decision specifically, is exactly the same as it was in the weeks right after Dobbs. So there were some people that were saying, well, you know, people will just get used to this and gradually like accept the new people are not getting used to this. People are not accepting this. And
thank God.
It's like good for Democrats, good for pro-choice voters. I mean, it really sucks that there has been this period of time where all of these people are falling through the cracks. There's something so cruel about the ways that many states are handling reproductive justice issues. But on the other side of this, we might end up in a future where people on average have more access to abortion than they had before.
I mean, fingers crossed. I think, Erin, so much of what the Republicans did, it's like they're the dogs that caught the car. You know, they got what they wanted, but they didn't have a plan. And they really, really just went too fucking far. Like I don't care how you feel about abortion, but when you listen to the stories of women who have been denied abortions because doctors and healthcare clinics and hospitals were too afraid to treat even dire circumstances where people's lives were at risk because they thought they'd get sued.
Like, or arrested, or worse.
Or arrested, or exactly. I mean, I think they overplayed their hand here, Erin. It's going to come back and bite them.
And on that note, last Friday, a Texas judge issued an order barring the state from enforcing its ban on abortion after about 6 weeks of pregnancy in cases where a patient's life or health could be endangered by an emergent medical condition. It was ruled that the state's abortion ban has been too restrictive and has led to women with serious pregnancy-related complications to endure unnecessary medical risk. And the judge's order basically asked for some clarification. It was like, hey guys, this law is ridiculous. It doesn't clarify that doctors are able to take care of their patients, essentially. And the ruling was the first to undercut Texas's law since it took effect in 2022. It is a major victory to abortion rights supporters who see the case as a possible model for how to attack these laws in other Republican states. The penalties under the Texas law are pretty stiff. Doctors who perform abortions could be sentenced to life in prison and fined up to $100,000.
It's unfucking believable.
Yeah. And, as a result, women who had serious, like lethal fetal abnormalities were denied care. Women who were at risk of experiencing sepsis were denied care. It's basically a law that orders doctors to, if they want to be careful, just kind of like not treat pregnant women.
Right. I mean, like, Erin, so many of the stories we heard were pregnant women who were told their babies were not going to survive or were already gone. Were told to go home and just wait till their fever gets high enough that they can confirm they're basically in the early stages of sepsis and then come back to the hospital, and that's when they could treat them. What?
So ridiculous.
And the fact, too, that in order to make the point about how inhumane and catastrophic these laws are, these women have to be re-traumatized and tell the stories publicly in court to explain what has happened and why these are wrong. But we appreciate
I'm just going to say this. Like, birth, if everything goes well, is fucking traumatic. birth is like the most traumatic thing that most women ever live through. Like, it is so traumatic. I mean, it's, oh yes, it's beautiful, blah, 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 whatever it is. Like, on the other side of it, you get a baby and then you get to go home and not sleep for 3 months while it just cries at you and doesn't know who you are. But like, birth is fucking traumatic regardless. When you are being forced to give birth to a baby that will not live, and you could have prevented that trauma, like, that is cruel and inhumane. I don't understand. And, you know, again, I'm not a lawyer, thank goodness. But I don't understand why there isn't a legal challenge to some of these laws from a free speech perspective, because it does seem like these laws are violating doctors' free speech rights. The right to provide like care to their patients as they see fit in accordance with their training and expertise. Like, seems like a violation to make doctors do shit.
Also, like, their oath. I mean, it's like, how are you supposed to see someone who you know is sick and going to get sicker and be like, come back when you have gotten much, much sicker?
Yeah, it's anyway. So, you know, the injunction was double backsies reversed. I think that's the legal term, by the Texas State Supreme Court, which means that the Texas law remains in effect. But as this case proceeds through the courts, we might see it at the Supreme Court eventually. As it proceeds through the courts, it could and probably will have more implications for laws in other states as well. So there. Oh, I wanted to talk about something else, something that's like a little bit less serious than the life and death of abortion.
But we're a high-low podcast.
We're a high-low podcast. When they go low, we also go low. And then high again at a different point. Okay. So, you know, I never really was into the hot girl summer thing. I really respect the hot girls that did it, that pulled it off. But I was like beyond my hot girl years at that point. But what I can get down with is, I think 2023 is just girl summer. It's just straight up.
It is
girl
all
summer.
the girls.
All the
nonstop.
girls. Girly summer, maybe. So from Taylor Swift's Blockbuster Eras tour that is such an economic driver that Justin Trudeau begged her to do more dates in Canadian cities, to Beyonce's Renaissance World Tour, to Greta Gerwig's Barbie movie breaking $1 billion at the box office. That's a lot of B's. The entertainment industry is being kept afloat by projects that center girls and women and take their inner lives seriously. And that is very hard for a certain type of man to process, it seems.
Which is interesting because, you know, Taylor, Beyonce, they're not discriminating between red states and blue states.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know, Erin, that after Taylor added, I think it's 3 stops in Indiana, in Indianapolis, that it is anticipated that local consumer spending around her Eras tour in Indianapolis alone will generate $4.6 billion for the economy there?
Whoa.
Yeah. What?
That's...
What? Because guess what? Because her tickets and Beyonce's are so hard to come by, they have what is called Taylor tourism and Beyonce tourism. People who can get tickets someplace else and they're traveling there. So there's hotel rooms, there's food, people are going shopping. I mean, the amount of money spent on beads to make friendship bracelets alone.
Yeah.
Is
I should have bought stocks in a bead company before 2023. We'd be
rich.
I would be like height of Bitcoin rich, and it would be real money. That is, I have a couple friends who have, you know, daughters that are a little bit older than my kid. And the cost of getting tickets to the Eras tour and the hoops you have to jump through, thanks to Ticketmaster in the US, it's so high. And I've heard about this with people doing this with Beyonce tickets too. It is, one of my friends priced out just getting tickets in Rome and flying there with her 2 kids and going to see Taylor. And she realized it was like going to all in cost about the same as getting tickets in her city.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. So she bought the tickets in Rome and they're going to go.
Good for her.
They're going to go together on a trip. I had another friend who ended up doing that, but for London. I've heard of people buying Beyonce tickets in Scandinavia and taking a nice little trip up toward the Arctic Circle. Yeah. I mean, like, Ticketmaster sucks, but it's a boon for tourism, I guess, maybe.
But you know what I love to hear too is that, you know, there are a lot of like concerts that have been fronted by men and they make a lot of money. Taylor has given over $55 million in bonuses to everybody working on the Eras Tour, from the truck drivers to the dancers and everybody in between. Mm-hmm. Beyonce paid $100,000 to keep the metro open in D.C. so that people could get home because there was a terrible thunderstorm there and they had to delay the start of the show.
Oh, no.
I mean, just using their power for good.
Right. Well, we just need to convince them to lay off the private jet use, I think, at this point.
That would be helpful. That would be helpful,
super
but,
helpful. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, so the Women's World Cup is going on in soccer.
Yep.
I've decided Colombia is my adopted team. I love them. Absolutely love them.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. But the U.S. women's national team had a kind of disappointing cup appearance. They're sort of, watching them play. Their loss to Sweden was pretty heartbreaking because, I knew what had happened before my husband started watching the game, so I didn't want to watch the game because I knew what had happened.
Yeah, I get it.
He said watching it, it was clear that U.S. was the better team and either team could have won. It was just kind of it came down to just them's the breaks. But there's a lot of people with their, a lot of people who I don't think give a shit about women's soccer with their panties in a twist about the way that American women's soccer players conduct themselves.
Erin, it's exhausting. Also, you know what's so funny about these people? When men's team don't win, they say shit like, can't win them all.
Yeah. It's so weird. I mean, Megan Rapinoe did get into a very public battle with Trump during the Women's World Cup last time, which they won. And it seems like conservative America just is a grudge against her. It's so weird because, if the men's teams were playing, they probably wouldn't be treating any of the players like this.
Ever.
I mean,
of course not.
I could see them. The only way that I could see them treat, if somebody was speaking out against police brutality or something like that, they would probably get upset with it. But yeah, I mean, why are they talking about Megan Rapinoe on Fox News? What position does she play, guys? They
don't know.
You care so much about soccer? What position does Megan Rapinoe play? Is she on the left or the right side of the field usually?
The position they know is that she thinks the women's team should have equal pay. They seem to hate that. They seem to hate that.
That's the position that she plays.
That's the position that she plays with them.
Well, now at least I think that it's fair that the women should have equal pay to men, because they're, now both teams have disappointed us equally in the World Cup, which is fine. You truly can't win them all. I think that it's really exciting to watch other teams have soccer being played at such a high level and to not have it just be a few countries with enough money and resources to support a women's soccer program. It's a global thing now, and it's really exciting to see. So I don't know. It's just conservative apoplexy about women's sports is just you guys don't even fucking care about women's sports.
You don't care. You don't care at all. But you know that they were can you just imagine their text chain when they were getting ready for their show? They're oh my God, put Megan Rapinoe on the docket because she's woke, they say. That's why she lost. She's woke.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but they said you can be an activist if you're like LeBron James and win all the time. I guess LeBron's never.
She was the LeBron James of soccer until literally
she's a goat.
Until literally this tournament. She's won 2 World Cups. What are you fucking talking about? Oh, my voice is getting into a high octave.
I know. We were howler monkeying it for Megan Rapinoe.
Ooh, you know what? We're going to talk about the Great Lakes region a little bit more today. Josh Shapiro, Hive, rise up. Does he have a hive? Does the governor of Pennsylvania have a hive?
Are we the hive? We might be the hive.
We might be the hive. I feel like he's got a pretty substantial hive.
He's killing it.
In the Keystone State. He's killing it. Pennsylvania announced last Thursday that after nearly 30 years, it was canceling the contract of an anti-abortion group that provides funding for deceptive crisis pregnancy centers. The group Real Alternatives
has
received more than $134 million to date in state and federal funds. Governor Shapiro first signed the 2023-24 budget, which increased the line item from $6.2 million to $8.2 million, and then his administration separately revealed the end of the group's contract.
Bye-bye.
Ha ha ha. You're going to have to figure out a new grift. Shapiro said, for decades, taxpayer dollars have gone to fund real alternatives. My administration will not continue that pattern. We will ensure women in this Commonwealth receive the reproductive health care they deserve. Pennsylvanians made clear by electing me as governor that they support a woman's freedom to choose, and I will be steadfast in defending that right. Way to go, Governor Josh.
Into it, Josh. Thank you
weird
so
to have
much,
a governor
Gov.
named Josh, you know?
I know. I mean, I guess he's my age.
That's how old the Joshes are. Like
The Joshes are my age.
That's how old the Joshes are.
It's like, Erin, in like 35 or 40 years, there are going to be a lot of Barbies running for Congress is my prediction.
Wait, people named Barbie?
Yes. Didn't you see the name Barbie is on the rise now that but the Barbie movies come out?
That's actually, it's a cute name.
It's adorable.
It's a
and you
cute
know what?
name.
When they get older, they can be Barbie. They could be Babs. You know, I'd be Babs. That would be
I know
mine.
you would
I'd
be
pick
Babs.
Babs as my nickname.
You would 100% be Babs. Shapiro has also been doing a lot of cool stuff for the people of Pennsylvania. Do you remember when the I-95 collapsed outside of Philly?
You mean the highway he put back together in like 2 weeks?
Like 2 weeks. He built it back together in 2 weeks.
I gotta tell you, Governor Shapiro is really telling on a lot of other people because you see how long other things take and you're like, okay, who's on the grift on those projects?
Yeah.
Because he showed us that when things are actually pretty fucking critical, they can get fixed pretty fucking fast.
Right. It's like this sort of like toxic masculinity example of guys being like, oh, that's guy code. It's guy code. We don't tell on this or we don't do
whatever.
He's like breaking gov code. Like he's like, actually, you could do this really fast and under budget, and it is not a big deal. So yeah, he's a pretty cool governor. He's doing great work. I would say that I would allow him to be on this show if he wanted
Erin,
to.
I feel like that invitation, we may need to extend that invitation in the months to come.
Yeah, like the people from the Keystone State, look, they've kind of been the quiet workhorses turning a purple state blue, and, you know, throw a little shine on him.
He's with us.